Welcome to the HFY Tales channel. Remember to like and subscribe if you like the story. Enjoy and take care.
The scent of vibrant alien flowers filled the air as Xander walked through the bustling streets of Kivara, the capital city of Xylaria. Neural markings glowed against the skin of the aliens around him, each color and pattern symbolizing their spirit, tradition, or status. Xander marveled at the living tapestry, a stark contrast to Earth's mundane existence. Ever since the galactic unification, he had embraced the thrill of being a human ambassador, striving to bridge the gaps between two distinct worlds. As he meandered past stalls bursting with exotic goods, laughter rang from a nearby square. An annual festival celebrating interspecies unity was underway, drawing participants from every corner of the galaxy. Colorful drones flew overhead, creating patterns that dazzled the eyes, while music resonated through the air, a mix of alien melodies and human rhythms that tugged at his heartstrings. Among the crowds, he spotted three women who stood out, a trio of radiant Xylarian sisters. Zinnia, with her fiery red markings, stood confidently at the forefront, engaged in playful banter. Milera, adorned in calming shades of blue, had her head thrown back in laughter, while Tressa, cloaked in soft purples and greens, remained analytical yet curious, quietly observing the festival with intrigue. Xander's heart raced as he approached them, each sister embodying qualities he found endearing. As he drew nearer, Zinnia caught sight of him. "Well, if it isn't our favorite human, come to join in the festivities?" "Absolutely," Xander replied, breaking into a smile. "I wouldn't miss this for the world. Your culture is fascinating, and these festivals seem to only get better every year." The sisters exchanged knowing glances, their deep-seated bond evident, yet it intrigued Xander. He could see how their differences complemented each other. Zinnia's vivacity, Milara's warmth, and Tressa's logic created a unique dynamic that captivated him. "Join us for some Freyland fruit. It's the highlight of the festival," Milera suggested, motioning toward a vendor selling glowing, elongated fruits that twisted in colors as they reflected the sunlight. As they shared the sweet, tart fruit, Xander felt a spark of connection. It was as if he were tasting not just the food, but the essence of their culture. Laughter echoed, stories flowed freely, and for a moment, the barriers between human and alien seemed to dissolve. "Tell us more about Earth, Xander," Tressa said, her green eyes shimmering with curiosity. "What do you do for fun?" "Well," he began laughing, "we don't have festivals like this one, but we do enjoy music, movies, and hanging out with friends. There's something universal in we humans." Zinnia interrupted, her voice teasing. "What you mean is the humans enjoy watching themselves in motion pictures, while we appreciate the kinetic beauty of life." The sisters giggled, and Xander couldn't help but chuckle along. Their playful banter felt effortless, natural. As the sun began to set, painting the sky in hues of orange and violet, their surroundings transformed. "Have you ever been to a Xylarian ceremony?" Tressa asked as they strolled closer to the heart of the festival. "Not yet. I've read about them, though," he replied. "They sound deeply significant." Zinnia stepped closer, her expression shifting from mischievousness to sincerity. "You should see one. They're unlike anything you can imagine. But I warn you, they can be quite overwhelming. Our traditions run deep." "And not entirely human," Milera added with a grin, nudging Zinnia playfully. As the night deepened, a mesmerizing performance by a troupe of Xylarian dancers captivated the crowd. The sisters joined in, pulling Xander to his feet, encouraging him to dance with them. As they twirled and moved, he felt each sister's energy intertwine with his own, creating a harmony he'd never experienced before. And just as the dancers concluded their routine with vibrant energy, a momentary silence fell over the crowd. It was during this lull that the deep tones of a ceremonial horn echoed through the square. Suddenly, the cheerful atmosphere shifted. Xander noticed a group of traditionalist Xylarian elders, whispering with visible unease. The elders' hardened expressions contrasted starkly with the joy radiating from the crowd, and an ominous chill crept through his spine. "What's happening?" Xander asked, glancing worriedly between the sisters. "It's the ceremony of commitment, where unions are formalized," Tressa explained, her brows furrowed. but sometimes it's contentious, especially with outsiders. Xander's heart raced. Could this celebration turn tense? He sought reassurance from the sisters, but their expressions mirrored his concern. He felt different now, drawn to these women in a way he hadn't anticipated. Just as their curious glances turned toward the unfolding ceremony, Xander realized one truth amidst the rising tension. He wasn't merely a spectator in this world. He was becoming part of their story. And as the festival continued, he felt the threads of excitement and apprehension weave through his heart, forging a connection to something far greater than he'd ever imagined. As the ceremonial horn's deep echoes faded, Xander felt the atmosphere shift, tension wrapping around him like a wet blanket. He turned to the sisters, their expressions a mixture of concern and determination. Zinnia, always the fiery spirit, clenched her fists, and Xander noted the way her features hardened, her protective instincts coming to the forefront. "Stay close," Milera whispered, her calming presence steadying them. "Whatever these traditions entail, we'll face them together." With their reassurance, Xander felt emboldened. But as the crowd grew silent, eyes fixated on the ceremonial ground, he could feel the weight of their watchful gazes press upon him. In the center, a group of Xylarian elders, draped in ceremonial robes, took their positions. The leader, an elder with distinct golden markings, raised a hand, and the murmur subsided. "Welcome, citizens of Xylaria and guests," the elder intoned, his voice resonating powerfully through the crowd. "Tonight, we honor the sacred union, a commitment not only between two souls, but also a promise to our shared future." Xander felt a strange mix of fear and curiosity coursing through him. What did this commitment mean for him? Relationships with a Xylarian were complicated enough, without the added dimensions of customs he barely understood. As the elder continued speaking, Zinnia leaned closer to Xander. "We'll explain after the ceremony. Just watch." Eyes flickering between the sisters and the stage, Xander took a deep breath, trying to latch onto the intent behind the elder's words, feeling the gravity of each syllable. The ceremony was announced to signify unity, strength, and the bond that transcended not just the individual races, but the very fabric of their shared existence. Suddenly, the ceremony shifted gears. A pair of young Xylarian lovers approached the altar, their markings glowing vividly. They bowed their heads in reverence, holding hands. The elder moved toward them, and Xander caught fragmented words: sacred bonds, protection of futures, and the merging of souls. The sight of the couple, almost ethereal in their joy and determination, struck a chord within him. Despite the differences, love appeared to remain a universal concept. Even so, could he truly understand the weight of their traditions? Zinnia's grip on his arm tightened as she whispered, "This is just the beginning. They will invite individuals from the crowd to share their own commitments." Xander's heart raced. He watched closely, uncertainty gnawing at him. He didn't belong here, not in the way these beings did. The idea of publicly declaring some form of connection made him anxious. What if he misinterpreted the norms? What if the sisters felt a different kind of expectation? But just as the thought collided with his imagination, the elder's gaze scanned the crowd, and Xander felt as if the entire universe had shifted to focus on him. "In this moment, we invite any who seek kinship to join and partake in the union," the elder announced, his voice penetrating the collective tension in the square. "Xander!" Tressa nudged him gently, her eyes wide with excitement and trepidation. "This might be your chance. Show them your heart." "Me," he sputtered, baffled. "I don't know how to participate in something like this." Zinnia laughed softly, her confidence infectious. "Just express what you feel. Tell them what our connection means to you." As the couple completed their vows and received the elder's blessing, the crowd erupted into applause. Xander felt the sisters' encouraging gazes, their silent support urging him forward. They were waiting for him to take a step, to not simply observe, but to engage. Steeling himself, Xander walked toward the altar, the noise of the crowd fading into a dull roar as he focused on the three sisters standing proudly behind him. He reached the sacred area, standing among those newly committed couples, his heart racing. The elder gestured toward him, eyes glinting with curiosity. "And what brings you here, human?" Xander swallowed hard, searching for words. I didn't expect to feel such a strong connection to this place or its people, he began, his voice shaky but growing steadier. These sisters, Zinnia, Milera, and Tressa, they've changed my life in ways I can't describe. They've opened my eyes to beauty, unity, and love in a way I never imagined possible. The crowd listened intently, captivated. Xander felt emboldened, and he pressed on. I know we come from different worlds and customs, but I believe that love knows no boundaries. It's transformative. I'm not here to take away from your traditions, but to celebrate what we share and to explore the potential for a future. The air crackled with anticipation as he finished, heart racing. Xander's sincerity seemed to resonate, leading to murmurs rippling through the crowd. Hope flickered in Zinnia's eyes, while Milara's gentle smile spoke of pride, and Tressa's eyebrows raised in awe. The elder nodded thoughtfully, and Xander could only pray he hadn't overstepped or misrepresented himself. After a few moments that felt like an eternity, the elder replied, "To love transcends all differences. Yours is a story that many can learn from. Embrace it, and encourage others to unite." With that, the crowd erupted into applause, their acceptance washing over Xander like a tidal wave. He stepped back, breathless, heart pounding. Zinnia rushed to him, her spirit still vibrant, covered in a glow of excitement. That was incredible. Milera wrapped her arms around him briefly, her warmth wrapping around him like a protective shroud. You spoke from your heart, and that's the most beautiful thing. Tressa nodded, her expression softening. You've shown the potential for change in our traditions. I believe we can do something magnificent together. As the festival progressed, Xander felt like a spark had ignited between the four of them, intertwining their paths in ways he didn't fully comprehend yet. An unspoken bond had formed, one rich with possibility, anticipation, and an undeniable sense of belonging. But the traditionalists observed quietly, their expressions hardening. It was clear that while Xander had felt acceptance from some, there were still shadows lurking within the festival, hinting at challenges they had yet to confront. With newfound courage and the burgeoning connection with the sisters, Xander was prepared to face whatever lay ahead. After all, he wasn't merely an ambassador. He was becoming part of something extraordinary. With the festive air still crackling around them, Xander felt invigorated by the connection he'd just forged. But even amidst the laughter and celebration, he sensed an undercurrent, a shadow creeping through the edges of the crowd. The traditionalist elders exchanged glances filled with disapproval, their rigid postures suggesting they were plotting something. The crowd gradually transitioned to the next activities of the festival: dancing, storytelling, and displays of artistry that showcased the beauty of Xylarian culture. Laughter filled the air, but Xander's heart thudded with unease, sensing that their triumphant moment might be short-lived. "Xander," Tressa said, her voice dipping into a tone of concern, "what you did out there was brave, but we must stay aware. The elders have strong beliefs about interspecies relationships. They may oppose us." "Are they really that rigid?" Xander asked, worriedly glancing back at the elders deep in hushed conversations, their gazes occasionally flickering in his direction. "It's complicated," Zinnia admitted, folding her arms. "They fear anything that strays from tradition. Interference from outsiders could cause upheaval in their carefully structured society." "Then we need to prove that we can create a bridge, right?" Xander said, determination sealing his resolve despite the foreboding atmosphere. Milera stepped forward, her soft smile encouraging. "We must show them that love can coexist with tradition. We can establish new ways to unite our people." As they huddled, discussing strategies, Xander found comfort in their solidarity, the strength of their bond evident. If they could build a connection strong enough to withstand dissent, they could pave a new path. The night wore on, but the traditionalist elders remained an ominous presence, quietly observing the festivities, whispers spilling like shadows as they plotted. As Xander joined a group of dancers, he noticed one of the elders, a figure clad in deep green, stepping forward. The elder's voice sliced through the lively atmosphere like a storm cloud. "Citizens of Xylaria," the elder called, demanding attention with a voice that resonated with authority. We cannot ignore the implications of forging alliances with those who do not understand our ways. The crowd began to quiet, all eyes on the elder. Xander's stomach sank. He could sense the tensions rising. The human, while brave in his declarations, risks our sacred traditions. We, as keepers of our customs, must remain vigilant. This is not the right path for our people. Xander's heart raced. The weight of judgment pressed down on him, igniting a flutter of disbelief. A murmur of agreement echoed among some in the crowd, further entrenching the divide. Zinnia stepped forward, her tone fierce, yet measured. Elder Kale, while we respect your authority, we must also embrace growth. What if uniting with others makes us stronger? Stronger, perhaps, he replied sternly. But there's danger in straying too far from the roots that define us. We have thrived without outside influence for centuries. Perhaps it is time to reevaluate what defines us, Tressa added, her voice steady. Our identities do not solely lie in rigid traditions. We are capable of adaptation. The elders exchanged glances, their expressions hardening. The ripple of dissent among them was palpable, and every word seemed to push them deeper into their resolve. Love can bridge gaps. It isn't a weakness. Milera interjected passionately. We must not dismiss those who wish to strengthen our legacy in new ways. The crowd held its collective breath, waiting for Elder Kale's response as he looked out over the assembled beings. This cannot be decided at a festival, he declared. We will reconvene and discuss this matter as a council. Until then, I advise caution with these newfound feelings. With a wave of his hand, the elder turned away, striding off into the darkened fringes of the festival. As murmurs of discontent and agreement rippled through the crowd, Xander felt heartbreak and anger well up inside him. What do we do now? He asked, glancing at the sisters, their faces tense with uncertainty. We rally the people who believe in our cause, Zinnia responded, her spirit still steadfast. We find those who want to see the bonds between our worlds strengthened. I know a few who would want to support us, Tressa added, but we may need to keep our gathering discreet for now. The public sentiment is delicate. Xander nodded, his resolve bolstered by their determination. Then let's start to build alliances. I can talk to the humans living here. If we can present a united front, we can reassure everyone that this union won't threaten anyone's way of life. They spent the remaining portions of the festival divided into smaller groups, engaging those willing to listen and envision a future where unity thrived. Xander felt invigorated, his spirit lifted by conversation and laughter, members of both sides finding common ground as the festival provided an atmosphere of openness. As they wrapped up, Xander shared a final moment with the sisters away from the main festivities. The stars shimmered above them, illuminating the path ahead. If we're going to do this, we need to prove that love, our love, can withstand anything, Xander said, glancing between them. Together, we'll show them we can build a new legacy. In every culture, love finds a way to thrive, Milera said softly, placing her hand on Xander's arm. With unity, hope shines brighter than any tradition that seeks to divide us. Xander felt a weightless spark in the air around them, a promise of their burgeoning connection forging a path forward. As a new determination set in among them, they ventured into the next phase of their journey. However, as fireworks lit the dark sky, Xander's heart tightened with the knowledge that their path would not be easy. The shadows of dissent challenged them at every step, but with each other, they felt an indomitable strength begin to take root. The echoes of the festival slowly faded as the dawn's first light bathed the landscape in hues of gold and lavender. After the vibrant night, Xander stretched beneath an alien sky, feeling the energy of possibility still pulsing around him. He had always known that change was daunting, but now, under the rising sun, determination surged within him. Xylaria was a world of wonder and discovery, but it also demanded respect for traditions that had been upheld for generations. His heart raced at the challenge ahead and the commitment he felt to the sisters by his side. Later that day, they gathered in a secluded grove hidden from the main paths of the city, the air filled with the sweet fragrance of blooming disflora, plants that thrived on Xylaria, harmonizing both structure and wildness. This would be their meeting point to spearhead their plan to rally support for their vision of unity. Do you think anyone will show? Milera asked, fidgeting slightly. Her calm demeanor was laced with a hint of agitation, an unusual sight for the usually steady sister. They will. We just need to make them understand that we can find a way to honor the past while building a future, Zinnia assured her, confidence radiating from her. As Xander glanced around the grove, an array of colored markings glowed through the trees. Friends he had come to trust, allies eager to discuss change, those who had felt the flickers of hope in their hearts. They arrived quietly at first, eyes wide with anticipation, and later, the group swelled with courage as they shared their thoughts. "Xander, it's good to see you," said a familiar voice. Alicia, a fellow ambassador from Earth, embraced him warmly. "I heard from the others about your bold declaration. It's created quite the stir." "Stir is one way to put it," Xander replied, his heart racing. "We need to present a united front if we're going to gain support. Can you rally the humans in the colony?" "Absolutely. They deserve to know that we found something unique here. I'll ensure they're informed of what we're trying to achieve." Alicia's eyes sparkled with determination. As they gathered their thoughts and shared perspectives, Tressa took the lead. "We need everyone's input. Each of you here has a voice, and together we can craft a message that encourages unity." The atmosphere buzzed with excitement. Ideas flowed freely. How to frame their vision, how to address concerns while exuding confidence. Yet amid the enthusiasm, a nagging thought tugged at Xander. The elders were still out there, lurking in the shadows of dissent, gathering their own arguments against the Union. Zinnia's voice broke through the thoughts swirling in his mind. "We must debunk the myth that this relationship threatens tradition. Let's showcase how unity can enhance our identities." "What about the ceremony of commitment?" someone from the crowd called out. "It's the pillar of our customs. How do we adapt that to include humans?" "It's an excellent point," Tressa acknowledged. "We could host a dual ceremony, one that incorporates both our traditions. Show that love can exist on both sides." Xander felt a rush of momentum passing through the gathering. "We could make it a festival of its own, a celebration where we weave together our cultures." His voice stepped up with excitement, enthusiasm kindling within the crowd. "Yes," Alicia chimed in. "Promote it as an event that unites Xyleria and Earth. We can invite the elders to participate. If they see the community come together, they may have to re-examine their stance." A cheer rose from the assembled crowd, passion swirling in a mix of fearlessness and hope. Xander shared a glance with the sisters. Each of them was ablaze with determination, and he felt a deeper connection to them. As the meeting began to wind down, Tressa pulled Xander aside. "What if no one comes? What if the elders don't accept our union?" "We're not going to let fear dictate our purpose," Xander replied, gratitude swelling toward Tressa's unwavering support. "Remember what we're fighting for. If they don't see the beauty in our connection, then we must lead by example." Tressa nodded, her spirit igniting, and soon the group wrapped up their thoughts, solidifying their desire to bridge two worlds. They would communicate with the humans, reach out to kindred spirits within Xyleria, and promote their upcoming event, the Union of Spirits. Days passed quickly as the preparation became a whirlwind of excitement. Flyers were distributed, banners designed, and word spread like wildfire among the communities. Xander found himself in constant conversation with both species, balancing the challenges with an uplifting momentum. However, the shadows of dissent still loomed. As the day of the Union of Spirits approached, the dissenting elders extended their grasp, voicing concerns and inciting fear among some members of the populace. The risks of change spiraled through rumors and whispered conversations. On the eve of the event, Xander, the sisters, and Alicia stood atop a grassy knoll overlooking the site of the ceremony. The sun dipped low on the horizon, casting a breathtaking glow that encapsulated their determination and hope. "Tomorrow, is it?" Milera said, her eyes surveying the preparations below, anxiety lurking in the undertones. "Will they listen?" "We'll give them no choice," Zinnia replied fiercely, determination fueling her spirit. "Tomorrow, they'll see the love we cherish is worth standing up for." Xander reached for their hands, the warmth grounding him as he drew strength from their bond. No matter what happens, we're in this together. Love may be challenged, but it cannot be silenced. As they stood united, silhouetted against the sunset, Xander felt a blend of adrenaline and trepidation. Together, with the sisters at his side, they prepared to face the unfolding conflicts ahead, ready to advocate for love and forge a new legacy. The dawn of the Union of Spirits dawned, stretching its radiant fingers across the sky, heralding a day of promise and potential. The festival grounds buzzed with activity, vendors lining up to showcase treats from both Xylaria and Earth, colorful banners flapping in the breeze, and a stage set for what would be a historic event. Xander stood in front of the large platform, heart hammering in his chest as excitement and anxiety swirled within him. He took a moment to appreciate the atmosphere. Laughter echoed all around, the mingling of vendors and guests from disparate cultures feeding off one another's energy. "Breathe, Xander," Milera said, stepping up beside him, her deep blue markings shimmering in the sunlight. "You're not alone. Remember, you brought us all together." "You're right. This is not just about me," Xander admitted, taking a deep breath. "It's about all of us, our cultures coming together as one." Zinnia appeared, clad in a stunning outfit that showcased her vibrant markings, exuding confidence. "We're ready to show them the beauty of our union, a blend of traditions, love, and hope." As people began to gather, Xander felt his determination solidify. Among the crowd were friends, allies, and even some who were skeptical but willing to witness the event unfold. However, lurking on the periphery were the familiar figures of the traditionalist elders. Their presence sent a rippling uncertainty through him. Could they truly embrace a future that diverged from their practices? Tressa stepped up, her voice calm yet firm. "We've prepared speeches that honor both traditions. We'll highlight how this union enhances, not erases, our identities." And just as the crowd grew in size, the air thick with anticipation, the elders took their positions behind Xander and the sisters, their expressions a mix of scrutiny and judgment. Xander met their gaze head-on, determined to confront the challenge ahead. As the event commenced, Zinnia took to the microphone first, her fiery spirit igniting the crowd with her passion. "Welcome, friends from all corners of our universe. Today, we're here to celebrate the Union of Spirits, an opportunity to embrace love that transcends boundaries and nurture connections that strengthen us all." Cheers erupted, and Xander felt warmth spread inside him, propelling him forward. Encouraged by the response, he approached the microphone next, strengthening his resolve. "This union represents a future where we acknowledge our differences and celebrate our shared experiences. Love knows no bounds. It is a force that connects us all," he declared passionately, remembering the forces that had drawn him to the sisters and this world. Bringing a fusion of Earth and Xylarian traditions, Tressa led the audience through interconnected rituals, combining elements of both heritages. Songs of the Xylarian people intertwined with the melodies of Earth, resonating through the hearts of the listeners, while the magnificent colors of both cultures swirled before them. As the ceremony unfolded, families bonded over shared stories, laughter rippling through the crowd like a current of acceptance. Some skeptics began to sway, feeling the warmth of declaration and commitment permeating the atmosphere. However, standing at the back, Elder Kale raised his hand sharply, silencing the crowd. "This ceremony, while enchanting, does not hold validity. Mixing traditions lays waste to what truly defines us. We cannot accept this." Gasps filled the air, and Xander felt his pulse quicken, tension radiating from the crowd. Fear settled in the pit of his stomach. Would this moment be disrupted? "Elder Kale," Zinnia called out, her voice steady as she stepped forward. "This gathering is about embracing change, not discarding our history. We are not ignoring our roots, but rather intertwining them with the new connections we forge." The crowd murmured, their divided sentiments palpable, and Xander stepped beside Zinnia, his heart pounding in sync with her courage. "We are creating a new legacy together. Isn't it a testament to our strength to unite rather than strictly adhere to tradition?" Kale's expression darkened, but Xander pressed on, determination invigorating him. To love boldly is an act of bravery. If we keep fighting against progress, will risk alienating those who wish to bring forth unity. The air crackled with anticipation as the elder's face contorted. You speak of unity, but at what cost? Sacrificing the very essence of our culture? Not at all. Tressa interjected passionately. We're showcasing how love can transcend borders. We believe embracing change will only make us stronger. If we close ourselves off, we signal a decline rather than evolution. Xander, Zinnia, Milera, and Tressa stood united, their resolve emanating from the bond they had forged. The energy of the crowd began to shift. Hope mixed with determination began to stir, rallying around them. Love can and must coexist with traditions. Alicia's voice rang clear as she joined them on stage. Those of us who journey from Earth understand that love can shape culture, not destroy it. We must choose to grow, and in doing so, we'll strengthen our ties across worlds. There was a moment of charged silence, and then a ripple of claps began. It grew quickly into a thunderous applause, uniting the crowd. Even the traditionalists glanced at one another, uncertainty flickering across their faces. Elder Kale, perceiving the shift in sentiment, furrowed his brow, yet remained hesitant. This may not be the end of this conversation, but perhaps we should reconsider our stances. The shift was palpable. Those who had feared the unknown began to look at the future through a lens of potential. As the applause echoed, Xander felt a wave of relief wash over him. Maybe today could be a turning point. As they celebrated, the energy in the air transformed into a beautiful blend of Xylarian and Earth customs, a family growing not just among individuals, but across worlds. Xander's heart soared, overwhelmed by the love and support encircling them. And as the sun set on the horizon, painting the sky in magnificent shades of orange and violet, Xander turned his gaze toward the sisters. This is just the beginning, isn't it? Yes. Together, we have begun to create something meaningful, Zinnia exclaimed, sweeping him and the sisters into a tight embrace, laughter bubbling forth from them, their spirits soaring. No matter the challenges, we'll build upon this foundation of love and unity, Milera whispered, squeezing him tighter. Xander realized in that moment that love was indeed a force capable of dismantling burdens that traditions could impose. Together, they had forged something extraordinary, a promise to stand united and a commitment to nurture bonds that could inspire a better future. The celebrations continued, laughter echoing amidst the vibrant colors and fusion of cultures that filled the festival grounds. Though many challenges lay ahead, the success of the Union of Spirits ignited a spark that began a new chapter not just for Xander or the sisters, but for all who shared that earth and sky, a promise of unity blossoming like the alien flowers around them. As evening fell, the stars began to twinkle overhead, and Xander found himself pulled away from the festivities, wandering over to a quieter area near the edge of the grove. The gentle rustle of leaves swayed around him, the soft sounds of celebration fading into the night as he pondered the events that had transpired. A few moments later, Zinnia, Milera, and Tressa joined him, each radiating warmth and energy. "We wanted to find you," Tressa said, her voice imbued with excitement. "Did you hear what the elders said? They actually plan to reconvene and discuss integrating interspecies unions into their customs." Xander's heart leaped with joy at the news. "Really? That's incredible." Hope colored his voice, and a smile burst across his face. "Do you think they'll go through with it?" "There's a chance, especially if we continue to unite our communities," Milera replied, her eyes reflecting the glow of nearby lanterns. The enthusiasm from the festival was contagious. "And we've created a ripple effect," Zinnia added, her spirit unyielding. "People here are beginning to see the beauty in diversity. Perhaps it will inspire a new era of understanding and companionship." As they conversed, Xander held their hands, gratitude swelling within him. The bond they shared felt stronger than ever, transcending mere love. It was friendship, discovery, and the courageous embrace of the unknown. "Together, we have the power to rewrite the narrative," Xander said, feeling every word weighted with significance. "We can demonstrate how love can conquer the fears that hold us back." Their momentum surged as they rallied more supporters, bridging humanity and Xylarian heritage. news of the union of spirits traveled quickly through Xylaria, igniting the interest of those who had previously doubted. Weeks turned into months as the sisters, Xander, Alicia, and their ever-growing band of allies coordinated efforts to create inclusive celebrations, honor traditions, and invite open dialogue. The atmosphere transformed, shifting from suspicion to smiling faces, laughter, and joy igniting hope. A pivotal moment arrived when the Xylarian Council convened to vote on formalizing the newly embraced unions into their customs. As members of the council debated, the voices became balanced. Those who clung to tradition now spoke of how love had changed their perspectives. It struck a chord with many, a realization that unity elevated rather than diminished their cultural identity. On the day of the vote, Xander and the sisters stood at the forefront alongside Alicia, the anticipation heavy in the air. Tensions surged as the council members debated fiercely. Finally, the council elder stood before the assembly, the murmurs falling silent. We have heard the voices of our citizens, those who have embraced change, and those who have feared it. Elder Kale began slowly. The room held its breath, and Xander's heart raced in tandem. It is clear that love is a powerful force of nature that cannot be restrained. Today, we will not dismiss the hearts that yearn for unity. And as Elder Kale continued, every word hung upon the collective breath of the assembly. The vote concluded, and the results were announced with palpable excitement. Rather than diminishing tradition, they would adapt and integrate, harmonizing old customs with newfound love. A new era begins, Elder Kale stated, his tone resolute. Uniting hearts and cultures is to accept the wondrous diversity within us, strengthening the bonds that tie us. Cheers erupted throughout the chamber, followed by the joyous sounds of celebration breaking out across the city. Xander turned to the sisters, tears of disbelief streaming down their faces, mirroring his own. "We did it," Zinnia breathed, her voice hushed with emotion. "Together, we created change." As the festivities erupted beyond the council chambers, Xander and the sisters stood in awe, flooded with gratitude and hope. The world around them had changed, forged through their courage and love. New traditions thrived across Kavara, blending Earth and Xylaria ceremonies into a rich tapestry of understanding. Interwoven tales of triumph, laughter, vulnerability, and growth cemented the bond between the species. But most importantly, Xander felt as if they had created their own family, one built on unbreakable love, filled with the promise to support one another through trials and victories alike. One evening, as they walked along the riverbank, illuminated by starlight, Xander paused, dizzy with happiness. "I never would have imagined I'd find this place," he said softly. "This family." Tressa smiled, her gaze shining under the moon. "Just as we were meant to be intertwined with this world, you were meant to be part of our lives. This connection will always be our foundation. And together, we can embrace whatever the universe throws at us," Malera added, squeezing Xander's hand gently. Zinnia stepped closer, her eyes reflecting belief and determination. "Our journey doesn't end here. We'll continue to advocate for love, understanding, and a future where differences unite us rather than divide us." As they stood hand in hand, gazing out at the horizon, Xander embraced the powerful truth. They had created not merely a union, but a legacy, one that would endure for generations, reminding all that love, in all its forms, held the power to shape worlds. And so, with hearts full of courage and hope, they stepped forward, ready to face whatever challenges lay ahead. Together,